Welcome in to Extreme Talk, presented by Complete Real Estate, where experience and integrity matters. Also want to give a big thank you to Sutton Pools, LLC, for sponsoring the interviews all season long, whether it's with coaches, people around the game of 8-man football, and I say not just coaches, people around the game. We were blessed to have Mr. Andrew Capps with Rocky Top Sports World, leading up to the Black Bear Brawl earlier this season, and then obviously kind of previewing a little bit of the All-American games that are coming up in December, and then got some other special guests lined up for the next couple weeks that are not coaches. So very excited about those interviews, but thank you so much for tuning in. Very excited about the people I'm talking to today. At 3:20, we're going to welcome in Coach Glenn Lott. He's from Macon East Academy there in Cecil, Alabama, one of the newest teams in the AISA to make the move to 8-man. So we'll talk to him. And then at 3:45, we'll talk to Coach Stephen King from the Chattanooga Patriots first-year football program. The Patriots have been around for a while with other sports. So we'll talk to him at 3:45. But right off the bat, I'm super excited. As we do every week, I want to give a big thank you to Fairlife Core Power Protein for helping us recognize the athletes every week, the guys that really show up, and I want to give a big shout out to the winners this week. So your offensive player of the week was Mr. Jackson Harris from Tuscaloosa Christian. Jackson found the end zone 4 different ways, 3 of them on offense, and then he had a pick return for a touchdown. But 3 different ways of scoring on offense: had a passing, 4 rushing touchdowns, and a receiving touchdown. And then he totaled 330 yards of offense, and led the Warriors to a 18-point win over the defensive player of the week. And his team, Cornerstone Christian Rainsville's Jess Nelson, was the defensive player of the week, had 13 tackles, all solo, had a tackle for loss, QB hurry, interception, and a fumble recovery. And so despite the loss, Jess balled out, and Jackson led his team to win in that game. And it was one of the better games that I've seen, one of the better games that week, really, especially there in the CFA, but just overall with 8-man. So committee almost unanimously voted Jackson. And Jess, and then Jackson did get a majority. So congratulations to those young men, and again, big thank you to Fairlife Core Power for helping us recognize these young men every single week. I want to start off by giving my thoughts and prayers to the folks that were affected by the storms this weekend. Especially our friends in South Carolina really got hit hard. I don't think there's any 8-man teams in Western North Carolina, but folks might have had family in Western North Carolina. I know East Tennessee got hit pretty bad. Georgia got slammed. I was talking to Coach Murphy from Westminster Schools of Augusta. They're still struggling down there in Augusta, Georgia. So our thoughts and prayers with them. I know Florida got hit pretty good too. So our thoughts and prayers are with all the folks that were affected in the storms. That being said, a lot of games got postponed either from Friday night to yesterday or even to tomorrow, or a later date down the road. So not as many games played, especially in the areas where the storms affected people. But we'll run through some of the games that were played. Let's start in the state of Alabama. Southern Christian, Trinity Christian Homeschool. Southern Christian coming off that tough 2-point loss to East Central. And Trinity, from what I heard, was not able to have field enough players for the game. So it's a forfeit loss for them and a forfeit win for Southern Christian. So they move to 4-1 on the season. Ezekiel Academy and Jacksonville Christian. We talked to Coach Miller last week. Knights from Ezekiel Academy, 80-58 win over Jacksonville Christian. And just 138 points scored in that game. It's a lot of offense. Evangel Christian, they moved to 6-1 on the season with a 41-12 win over the Lighthouse Warriors. And Evangel, a couple tough games coming up for them, but that's 2 conference wins for them already. So safe to say playoff spot locked in. Now it's just a matter of where. Let's jump over to the AISA. 3 out of 4 games played there. Springwood School at Lakeside School got postponed till tomorrow. But Evangel Christian, 22-6 win over Coosa Valley. The Lions moved to 4-2 on the season. Macon East, Montgomery Academy, or Macon East Academy, which we'll talk to Coach Lott here in a little bit. 56-24 win over Southern Prep. Macon East is 4-0 on the season. Meadowview Christian gets their first win of the season, 74-26 over North River, who is still looking for their first win. They're at 0-6, so a big win for Meadowview Christian. Let's go to the CFA. Let's start on Thursday. I don't think there were any Thursday games in the AISA, no. Just the CFA. There was supposed to be Tuscaloosa Christian at Clay County Christian. Clay County forfeited. Tuscaloosa Christian gets the win and moves to 500, 3-3. Cornerstone Christian Rainsville, 56-12 win over Victory Christian. Pretty wet game, but Eagles get it. Eagles from Rainsville get it done over the Eagles from Columbus. Russell Christian, 38-0 win over Tabernacle Christian. Russell moves to 5-1 on the season. And then we talked about Ezekiel and Jacksonville Christian. Let's go to the Southeastern Extreme Conference. Up here in Tennessee, 2 games moved to Thursday. That was the Tennessee Heat hosting the Chattanooga Patriots. Heat get the 64-30 win. Zion Christian on the road at the Tennessee Tigers. Both teams coming in with a little bit under 500. Eagles with a close 20-12 win in that one, so they moved to 3-5 on the season. Tigers at 2-5. Lancaster Christian and Riverside Christian. Riverside Christian ended up forfeiting that game, so Lancaster gets the win, the forfeit win, and they move to 4-1 on the season. Tri-Cities Christian playing an 11-man game up in East Tennessee, taking on Providence Academy, and the Eagles 28-14 win in the 11-man game that they played, so congratulations to them. If you look at the SCISA, you had 2 games played on Wednesday. Palmetto Christian and Cambridge Academy. Palmetto playing some 8-man, like when we talked to Coach Wood earlier this year, and he was talking about it. Palmetto Christian 44-22 win over Cambridge, and JDA 70-12 win over Cross. Jefferson Davis moves to 6-1 on the season. The 4 games scheduled for Friday night, no word. I think they were postponed to tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Let me verify that real quick. Let's see, where is that? So, let's see. No word about Cathedral at Holly Hill. Wardlaw at King, rescheduled for October 18th. Newberry at Lawrence for the 18th. Kings at Conway for the 18th. And at Oakbrook Prep and Richard Wynn, rescheduled for tomorrow. So those are the SCISA games. Let's go to the SIFA. Those games also canceled. 2 games that needed to be rescheduled. Carolina Wildcats at Georgia School for Innovation in the Classics, and then Coastal at Harvest. Both of those are being rescheduled. Augusta was supposed to be at JP2. That game was just canceled, not a conference game. Didn't affect anything there. And again, our thoughts and prayers with folks in South Carolina, hit pretty hard by those storms. Holy Spirit Prep and Monsignor Donovan Catholic. That game was scheduled for Friday, as that I can see. Kind of an off week for most of the teams in the GIAA. Don't have a report on that game. I know that John Hancock, I believe it was a forfeit to Westminster Schools of Augusta. Let me see if I can find. Well, it's been canceled. I don't know if it's a forfeit, win, or loss. I don't know who decided on either side of that one. Harvester Christian, though, 62-6 win over St. Mary's. Harvester moves to 5-1 on the season. Let's go to North Carolina. A couple games played there on Thursday. Pungo Christian, 57-6 win over Northeast Academy. Wayne Christian, 75-0 over Liberty Christian. Wayne is at 4-1. Pungo is also at 4-1. JP2, 49-14 win over Lawrence Academy. And Rocky Mount Academy, 35-12 over St. David's. Those games on Thursday. Let's talk about Friday. On Friday, had the 1 game played between Faith Christian and Halifax Academy. Faith with a 42-14 win. And then Cary Christian was supposed to play Father Capodanno. And let's see, they are working to reschedule that game. So that one is getting rescheduled. And then tomorrow it will be Pungo and Community Christian out of Wilson, North Carolina. Well, we'll talk about tomorrow later on in the show when we get to the preview portion. Let's go to the Mid-South Christian Football Conference. On Friday, Silva Bay Academy, Faith Christian Homeschool, they travel to Silva Bay Academy, and Silva Bay 49-6 win there. Faith Christian goes to 3-2-1. They counted one of the games as a tie. And then Heritage Christian out of Picayune, I think that's how you pronounce that. The Slidell Homeschool Saints, not New Orleans Homeschool Saints, Slidell Homeschool Saints, on the road at Heritage Christian, and Heritage Christian gets the 26-18 win. And then yesterday, Magnolia Wildcats at the Pine Belt Spartans. Wildcats get their second win of the year, 44-14 over Pine Belt. Spartans still looking for their first win of the season. Let's go to, let's go to Louisiana real quick. So Monday, First Baptist Christian at Southwest Louisiana Homeschool, an SWLA 42-12 win there. On Wednesday, Mount Olive at JPG. No score reported there, but given the history, I'm going to assume that JPG won. That puts them at 8-0. Mount Olive at 0-7. On Thursday, Acadiana Christian 68-20 win over North Shore Vultures. Acadiana now 5-2 on the season. And then yesterday, First Baptist Christian was supposed to be at Southwest Louisiana Homeschool again. I don't know what's up with that. No score reported on that one, so that one may have been a rescheduled game rather. Let's see. A ton of games. There were a bunch of games played in Mississippi. Let's go to, the Mason-Dixon Conference was supposed to have one game last week. Tennessee School for the Deaf at South Carolina. That game got canceled due to the weather for both East Tennessee and the South Carolina area. So that one is not being played. Let's see. Let's go to Virginia. Let's talk a little Virginia 8-man. Brunswick Academy with a forfeit win over Fuqua. On Thursday, that was the only game. On Friday, Blessed Sacrament Huguenot. Congratulations to them. 18-16 win over Broadwater Academy. That is BSH's first win of the season. Congrats to them getting the win over a Broadwater Academy that was 4-2 coming into that game. Quantico 70-36 over Massanutten Military Academy, and these games were played yesterday. Massanutten at 0-4. Quantico gets their first win of the year. Fishburne Military, they're 4-0 after a 22-12 win against Randolph-Macon. Brunswick Academy, 14-12 win over Virginia Episcopal School VES, a powerhouse in Division I there in VISAA. Brunswick Academy in Division II, a very good team down there. They go to Lynchburg and get the win. So congratulations to the Vikings. Rappahannock County hosting Greenbrier Christian. Rappahannock County is 5-1 on the season. Greenbrier Christian drops to 4-2. Let's talk Kansas Christian Athletic Conference. Let's look at that one. So on Friday, had 3 games scheduled. Plattsburgh hosting KC East, the Lions, and Plattsburgh 74-28 winners in that one. Manhattan Eagles on the road at Northland Christian. Manhattan 50-8 win there. And then Life Prep and Cornerstone Family Saints. Life Prep at Cornerstone Family. Life Prep gets the 72-22 win in that one. Let's see. Let's look at the Heartland Christian Athletic Conference. On Thursday, Claremore Christian hosting Cross Christian. Claremore 56-0 win over Cross Christian. On Friday, Arkansas Christian 26-22 win over Southwest Christian. Arkansas Christian, don't look now, they're 4-2 on the season. Abundant Life match on the kind of a neutral site game with Destiny Christian. Abundant Life gets the 36-24 win there. And then Sunrise Christian 49-0 win at Crossover Prep. Sunrise moves to 3-1. And then yesterday, Trinity Christian was supposed to play, but there is no game listed there. Let's run through state of Florida real quick. Some of those games being able to be played. Calvary Chapel, 36-0 win over City of Life. Calvary Chapel gets closer to 500. Masters Academy, 47-0 win over Eastland Christian. Merritt Island Christian, 45-20 win over Four Corners. Let's see, no scores reported for a couple of the other games. And then yesterday, Donahue Catholic, 40-26 win over Babcock. And Ocala Christian moves to 6-0 with a 38-8 win over Real Life Christian. Let's see here. So we have Coach Lott coming up at 3:20. We're going to step aside for just a second. And when we come back, we'll get Coach Lott on the phone. You are listening to Extreme Talk, presented by Complete Real Estate. All right, welcome back to Extreme Talk, presented by Complete Real Estate, where experience and integrity matters. Let's go ahead and get our first guest on the phone. Let's see, there he is. And again, all these interviews are brought to you by Sutton Pools LLC. Big thank you to them for sponsoring these interviews all season long. Joining me now is the head coach of Macon East Academy, Coach Glenn Lott. Coach, thank you so much for hopping on with me.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach, for those not familiar maybe with Macon East or yourself, I'd like to give you the opportunity to maybe give a little bit of the background of the school and then maybe yourself and your coaching career.
Okay, Macon East is a small school right outside of Montgomery, Alabama, located in Cecil. We're on the Auburn side of Montgomery.
Yes, sir.
We've been there. This is our 28th or 29th year. I've been there from the beginning. Been the head football coach. Now I'm the head football coach and also the headmaster at the school. So it's a small school. We have about 300 kids, and we've been playing 11 man up until this year. We just had a reduced number of players, and we're able to play 8 man.
And it was interesting too because of the timing. Obviously, you guys get into training camp a little bit and make the decision to make the move. Want to get you to talk a little bit about the decision making process and how you guys let everybody know, and then also just kind of how the response is. Obviously, you guys have had a ton of success so far, so I feel like that kind of helps with the transition a little bit.
It did. We had around, earlier in the summer, we had 14, 15 saying they were going to play, and we were talking to 2 or 3 kids, and ended up those kids didn't come, and a couple of them decided to play baseball only or basketball, and we had 9 the first couple of days, and then a couple of them went out of town, and on Thursday and Friday before we had to make a decision on Sunday whether we're going to play 11 man was the deadline, and I really didn't know that was a deadline. I thought we were not going to be able to have a team at all because we had 6 at practice. I called Roddy Beck, who's our athletic director of the AISA, and he gave me the option to play because we needed to know by Sunday at 5. And so we sat down and talked to our board of trustees and talked to our kids on Sunday afternoon. I don't think any of them were really excited about it at the moment. They wanted to play 11 man, what they were used to, and but we just didn't see how we were going to be able to field a team in 11 man, and I don't think we would have.
Yeah.
But we decided they didn't buy into it real good at first, but as it's gone along, they have, and we've had some success, and they really bought into it the last few weeks, gotten better. We were 1-9 last year, and first losing season we had. I think we'd only had 2 in my career there, so
Mm, mm.
they've kind of gotten into it, and like you said, we've had a lot of success so far.
Yeah, and I feel like as you get to playing the games, and I've heard this from a lot of people that made the transition, when if you're on standing on the sidelines or you're up in the bleachers and you're watching the game, unless you really pay attention, you don't notice the difference. That's the thing is it's football. You still got to tackle, you still got to block, you still got to do all of that. And obviously, you've been coaching for a while, but making the transition and kind of learning how the game is played. Is there anybody you were able to reach out to or rely on, talk to, maybe anybody who's been kind of influential with helping y'all?
Oh, no doubt. When I found out that Friday that was an option, my wife went with me. We went to Alabaster to Tim Smith at Evangel Christian. I know he's been doing it for a long time, and
Oh
he's the
yeah,
best around
yeah.
here. And I called Tim and I said, "Hey man, is there any way I can come watch y'all practice this afternoon?" He said, "We're practicing at 3:20," and I said, "I'll be there." And we went and watched, and I learned a ton that day. And I probably, like I said, I've done this for a long time, and I've had to study and get back into it and do a lot of film. And Tim was able to give me a lot of their film against different teams from different years for us to kind of learn by. And it is the same game once it's kickoff. I mean, we've played on a smaller field all year, which I can't imagine playing on a bigger field. I think it'd be a whole different game,
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
special team wise. But anyway, we've enjoyed it, and Tim has been a huge help.
Well, and that's some of that coaching savvy there, Coach. You went straight to one of the most successful programs and coaches and said, "Hey, and obviously you guys knew each other, but just to go to the top and learn from somebody who's been doing it, and a program really that has had a ton of success over time, and I think it shows on y'all season when you look at it, just a ton of conference games right off the bat, but you've gotten through them 4-0. You've had 2 shutouts. Um, I want to give you an opportunity to talk about the guys who were instrumental in those games so far, and maybe some guys coming back from last season that you were excited to see what they were doing. Maybe guys during the off season that were dedicated, and or maybe some guys through the last few weeks that have really stepped up. I want to give you a chance to talk about your players a little bit.
Yeah, well, we have like I said, I have 12 high school kids that are playing. We got 4 junior high kids, but Thad McKitty's our running back. He's been our running back for the last 3 years, and also our middle linebacker. He's a really good player. Sam Wallace is is our quarterback. He's also plays DB for us. He just started playing. His dad actually played for me a long time ago, and
Oh
we were.
wow.
We've had them. Carter Hobson's played for us for 3 years, and we had a good group coming back. The kids that we have, I was telling people I think we'd have won 6 or 7 games, and 11 man was just what we had. So
Yeah.
it was just trying to find some others. Then once we did it, we had a couple of kids come out that York Hardis came out, who was a lineman. Timothy Goss has been playing offensive line for us for a couple of years. We have a big guy, Will Hassan, that plays nose guard for us. He's just a big kid that kind of clogs up the middle for us. Um, but we've had a lot of success, and then we picked up a new kid, Micah. Um, Came from Pike Road, transferred in, and he was able to play. So, we're excited with the ones that we have. Jackson Todd's been playing with us and played last year and was hurt the other night. Hopefully, get him back in the next week or two with a concussion. But that's the biggest thing is when you lose one. You got to move 3 people, and I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah. No doubt.
the same thing, right?
Now, obviously, a head coach is only as good as the I feel as the crew around him, and obviously, been doing it for a while. But you've got to have a good crew of guys around you to, work with the team and get through it. So I want to give you a chance to talk about your staff a little bit.
Yeah, Coach McWhorter's been with us about 4 years, and he's been our defensive guy, and he's transitioning over like we have. And went and saw Tim, and I've been talking to Tim, and I'm kind of the middle guy trying to get it to him, and we're still trying to work on that. It's me and him, and then Christian Costin came to us from Billingsley. He's our new baseball coach, and he's never done it, but he's bought into it. Does our receivers and our DBs. So um, just just a team effort of trying to get it all done.
Now, obviously you guys made the playoffs in 2022 in 2A. They were in AISA. Not unable to make it last year. As you've come through the first part of this season, obviously you don't want to look ahead too far. You got a lot of games to play. But how do you kind of manage letting the guys be excited while keeping them grounded at, hey, if we don't do our job, we're not going to make it back to the postseason. We could slip up. How do you guys manage keeping the guys with that?
Well, I think us winning this year has had a lot to do with them staying focused at practice. The first couple of days was kind of so, I guess, and then once we won a game, we got a little bit more, and like I said, we were 1-9 last year, so we were just trying to survive. And,
Yeah.
there was most weeks we were just trying to figure out who could play where and make sure we could field a team. But this year, we've pretty much on Monday been ready to go, and they've been excited about it. I think they're excited because um, of winning, and we've kind of, we're learning every week too. So we're trying to install stuff every week that's something new to them too. And we're trying to put some trick plays in and making some linemen eligible so they get it. So it's kind of fun to them. So we're going to put some stuff in this week. We hadn't been under center yet, so we'll do some under center stuff this week just so we can, if we have to have a short yardage, we've been in the shotgun just about every play. So just something we can do different.
As a former offensive lineman, I can assure you, big boys love when the head coaches start throwing stuff in there for us. I
Yeah,
love
they
it.
kind of bought into that. We've done that. We have a big package where we snap it to one of our, like I said, Will Hassan's our big nose guard. He's about 330, so we snap it and he rubbles up on 2-point conversions for us. So they all get excited about that.
Big man score. Gotta love it.
Yeah,
Gotta love it.
yeah.
Hey, getting to kick the season off there at home and getting those first 2 wins. How crucial was that in getting not just your guys but the school excited about football again? Obviously, 1-9 is a tough season, and sometimes football can you're not as excited about it. So how big was that to kind of get the school excited about football again and kind of get interest going again?
I think it was some of the guys that aren't playing football, especially, after last year, they were getting on our kids a little bit about, why you doing this, not y'all getting beat and making fun of them. Our volleyball team's been very successful, and they were, same way. And now I think they've all kind of bought into it. Those first games were, they kind of, hey, y'all doing good. You hear it around campus, and we've started a new thing called Camelot clubs at our school, where everybody's in a club and they have to attend games to get points. And it's kind of gotten the whole momentum going, I think, with our team and being successful.
I think you're one of the first AISA coaches I've been able to talk to since this happened. Obviously, you had the tragedy with Morgan Academy a few weeks ago, and
Here,
up in the 11-man side. But I wanted to ask you: were you able to talk to your guys any about what happened? What were the conversations like? Are there any safety issues, or how were you guys able to kind of communicate with your guys about something as devastating as that?
well, we talked a little bit. Our association's small. We're all pretty much know everybody, and everybody knows people at different school. We play everybody in different sports, and you know, I'm the president of our coaches association for every sport. So we bought the CT stickers to go on everybody's helmets, and we've done that, and just been a huge outpouring from other schools to Morgan Academy. I can't imagine. I talked to Coach Webb 3 or 4 times whenever I could, but didn't want to put a lot of pressure on him either. Here goes. And but I can't imagine being in that situation. But we talked to our kids, a little bit, not to the point that we wanted them to stress out and worry about it and play. I mean, it was a freak thing, and it's part of the game. You hope you don't ever see, but
Yeah, for
it
sure.
did happen. Yep.
Yeah, that was tragic, and good to see Morgan back playing ball. And I'll tell you from the outside looking in, it was cool to see the camaraderie. Like you said, it's a very close group of schools, and it was cool to see the camaraderie that everybody came together with. Whether it's wearing the stickers or a moment of silence or whatever, everybody recognizing something like that and being there for each other. That was really cool to see from the outside looking in.
Yeah, it was. I mean, everybody reached out from the we've now members of the Alabama Football Coaches Association, that's public and private, and they've reached out to me to, see what we could all do as a group, and we're planning to do something later on. We wanted to wait a while, let the when everybody's there, there'll be a time later on we can do something. We felt like we could do something that they need later that, nobody may have thought about at the very beginning. So hopefully we're going to be able to do something for them and their family and Morgan Academy later too.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. I gotta have a squirrel moment. I hear the puppy dog. What kind of dog do you have, and how old? How old?
I have a dog. His name is Goose. We're sitting at a dove field this afternoon. So,
That's
um,
awesome. That's awesome.
yep. So,
I wanted to ask you, as you've seen some of the teams playing 8 man. Obviously, you talked about going to Evangel and talking to Coach Smith. Um, but so far, looking at 8 man, especially there in Alabama, is there anybody you look at and really want a chance to play them maybe next year if you guys have a similar week open? Is there anybody you'd like to match up with?
oh, I don't know. I don't know enough about it yet. I don't know. I'm just trying to find out.
That's
Tim,
fair.
when we first went and talked to Tim, he said, I wish I had a date. I could at least come down and scrimmage you or whatever, and we could work and practice. And like I said, I don't know if I can beat him, but of course, love to play and thank him for what he did for me and for our school. Because, like I said, I knew nothing of the game, so he's really been a help. We talk about once a week. We don't talk as much football, but we'll talk about teams, and he's played a lot of them that I haven't played the last few years. So,
Yeah, no doubt. Um, I kind of ask all the coaches this, kind of interested in it. Are you more of for you personally, are you more of a pregame or postgame meal kind of guy?
pregame or what now?
Or do you prefer to have a pregame meal or a postgame meal
Meal?
for you personally, like on game day?
We eat together before the game. We do the pregame meal. Yes, sir.
Got you. Now, do you eat much after the game, or what's
We try. We don't because most of the time everything about us is closed. We kind of out about it's 15 minutes to town, and ever since the pandemic, everything seems to be closed when you go. But so we've kind of. I can walk to the school quicker than I can drive, so usually I just walk home.
Fair enough, fair enough. And then you got stuff going on that night. But well, Coach, I'll let you get back to it. I appreciate you hopping on with me, and man, I'm excited to see what you guys do the rest of the season. Got a fun slate of games, and looking forward to seeing you guys play some more football in November.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Bye bye.
That's Coach Lott from Macon East Academy, 4-0 on the year. He was busy, but a big thank you to him for hopping on with me, even in the middle of the dove field. You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Big thank you to him. Earlier, we did not. We got a couple minutes before our next guest comes on at 3:45. We did not get through the rest of the game, so let's do this real quick first. So I'm sorry, Trinity Christian Homeschool forfeited. They did scrimmage, but it's technically a forfeit. And then also Massanutten Military Academy in Virginia. Okay, so Massanutten, got it. Thank you to Mr. Sutton, Mr. Brian Sutton, owner of Sutton Pools, who bring these interviews to you every single week with eight-man coaches and people around the game of eight-man football. So big thank you to Sutton Pools for that. Let's run through Mississippi real quick. And if you look on Max Preps, there's a lot of scores missing. I don't know if the folks down there aren't, turning them in. There's people around the game that aren't turning them in. And so it's very, very hard to track that. But on Twitter, there is an account at MAIS 8-Man Fan. It's 8-Man Fan. They do a good job of reposting scores. So we'll run through this real quick. Ben's Ford Christian 60-14 win. You know what? I am going to pull up the schedule though because some of these acronyms are the same. So I don't want to mess that up. Let's see, where did Mississippi go? There it is. Okay. Let's see. Might need to go to 2A. So Ben's Ford Christian and Hillcrest Christian. Ben's Ford with a 60-14 win there. Ben's Ford Christian moves to 5-1. Let's run through these scores that are here. Newton County Academy 42-12 over Calhoun Academy. Newton County moves to 5-2. Marvell and North Sunflower. North Sunflower 38-8 win over Marvell. So North Sunflower gets their first win of the year. Two winless teams coming into this game. Marvell sits at 0-5. Let's see. Tensas and Porter's Chapel. 62-30 win over Tensas Academy. Park Place Christian and Humphreys Christian. That's going to be, let's see, Humphreys 36-12 win over Park Place. Princess Christian and Kemper Academy. Let's see, I just saw the score for that one. Prentice 55-14 win over Kemper Academy. Prentice gets up to 500 on the season. Talked about Silva Bay and Faith Christian Homeschool. Silva Bay gets the win there. Prairie View Academy 35-14 win over Tallulah. Prairie View moves to 6-1 on the season. Tunica Academy, they are still unbeaten after a 42-14 win over Delta Academy. Tunica at 5-0, as well as DeSoto Academy with a 42-0 win over Deer Creek. So DeSoto at 5-0, and Christian Collegiate 38-28 win over Discovery Christian. So Discovery Christian drops to 3-4 on the season. Christian Collegiate gets closer to 500. Let's go to MAIS 1A real quick. That was 2A. I know we're missing some scores here. River Oaks. So we just talked to Coach Barton last week. River Oaks 52-0 win against Riverdale Academy. Claiborne Academy 46-0 win over Union Christian. Let's see if there's anybody that I missed. Let's see. Wilkinson County Christian 48-6 win over Franklin. Wilkinson County moves to 5-1 on the season. Franklin Academy still looking for their first win. Let's see if there's any of these scores that did not get put in. I think we talked about Briarfield and Columbus. Let's see, Briarfield and Columbus. I believe that was reported on 2A. Let me see. No, it was not. Okay. So Briarfield over Columbus Christian 36-24. So that's all of MAIS, and we went through Florida. Let's see if we missed anybody. Went through Kansas, Heartland, Florida, Virginia, Mason Dixon, Mid South Christian. That's everybody. All right. Well, let's get our second guest lined up here. Let me get him on the phone. And again, this interview is brought to you by Sutton Pools, LLC.
Oh,
Joining me now is the head coach of the Chattanooga Patriots, Coach Stephen King. Coach, thank you so much for hopping on with me.
no problem. Thanks for having me.
Want to give people a chance to get to know yourself and the Patriots as well, which this is their first year playing football, but they've had other sports and the program's been around for a while. But I want to give people a chance to get to know you and the Patriots.
Okay, love to talk to you about
Uh, let's start with you. Obviously, you played ball back in the day, but in terms of coaching, little bit of coaching history. But this is your first time at this level, correct?
them. It is. It's the first time in high school. I coached 4 years in college at the University of Memphis and played there for 4 years before that.
At Memphis State, correct?
Right. It was Memphis State then. It's now the University of Memphis. So,
Right, right.
which way to go, Tigers? You know, we pulled out one yesterday, so I'm thankful for them.
Hey, that was a good one. That was a good one.
But no, and then I actually played a lot of sports when grew up in high school, and also as I got out. Played softball for 25 years, played interleague basketball for almost 20, 30 years, inner city where I played after I got out of college, but did a lot of coaching with my son mostly. My son, coached him all the way through Little League, all the way up through into junior high. And then he went on to other sports, didn't play football anymore. But I coached with a friend of mine at junior high level for a couple of years. And then pretty much gotten out of it. It was mostly just me just enjoying, at that point, just focusing on my work life. I worked at Coca-Cola Bottling Company for 28 years. And I got married a couple of years ago at 66 years old. And now I'm 69 now. And my wife has got 4 grandchildren, and one of them wanted to play football. And it was with the Chattanooga Patriots, and they didn't have a coach at the time. So my daughter-in-law volunteered me. So I told them I'd do it for a little while to see what we could do and see if we can build a program. And Jamie Gilliland has been great to have me on. I've got 3 great assistants, Nathan Jackson, Drew Boyden, and Josh Bean, and they do a good job for helping me. So we've started building a program here.
So it sounds to me like you got voluntold.
I did.
But
My wife kind of decided that it'd be good for me to do this and get out of the house and give me something to do, I guess, maybe to get a little exercise. So yeah, it was really good. But no, I love coaching people. I do it a lot in golf and other things that I do, but I love to coach people and watch them improve. And it's always just been a hobby of mine. I'm more than willing to help anybody that wants to listen to me. So I enjoy that.
well, and speaking of the coaching, you guys have a special group of young men. Want to give you a chance to talk about them a little bit. The guys, maybe some of the guys that came through the off season and training camp and really put in some work, and then here in the season have really showed up. Because I think people overlook a team like y'all. They kind of write it off with 0-6, but you guys do have some special guys.
We do, and we had an opportunity to start a little bit before July in some conditioning. We had a place that we were able to go, and some of the young men got to experience weightlifting and things like that, speed training. But we had 23 guys when we started, and 15 of them had never played organized tackle football before.
Mm.
And so for us to get on the field and even be able to line up in the right positions and go down the field and give a little competition to people has been an exciting thing this year.
Yeah, no doubt.
And I'm proud of them. They've been able to do that. I've got 4 or 5 that have some skill levels. 2 especially. Pierce Jackson, number 23, who plays for us, has got just exceptional speed, a real good ability to run the ball. In fact, in the last 2 games, he's probably scored about 7, 8 touchdowns.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, Thomas Long, a big, tall, lanky kid that just a tough, hard-working young man. Just he grits it out, guts it out all the time. He's been one of my other scorers that's been able to do that. And then I've got two young quarterbacks that are freshmen that really you don't think about that, but they're young, but they've both been able to do a good job. And last night we played Tennessee Heat, and both of them rotated in and out because my offensive coordinator had a family issue and he couldn't be with us. So I had to call plays. So I ended up rotating the two of them out, and they did an excellent job and grew up doing that.
Yeah, no doubt. And it seems like there's been a lot of growing up for your guys too. It's even if guys had played have played other sports, basketball, all the sports that the Patriots offer, football is a whole different beast, whole different animal. And like you said, you've got some guys that have never even put on a pair of pads before, but seems like a lot of those young men are growing up right in front of your eyes. And I told you the other night, the guys don't quit. I mean, till the horn blows, your guys are pushing. Is that something that you as coaches are trying to instill in the guys? Is it something that kind of came with them, or maybe that there's other players that are leading and encouraging them to do that?
Well, I think the thing is that all of my coaches really push the effort part of it because discipline and focus is two of the things you try to emphasize in football. But probably one of the things that makes me the proudest is when I'm talking to them, we're going to go on the field and leave the field the same way we came on.
Yeah.
In other words, everything you've got. And what I really, like the other night when we played Tennessee Heat, and they're a great team. I mean, Coach Scott has done a great job with those guys. But what really impressed me was they came back out and my guys stopped them from scoring right there at the last part of the game. They didn't give up. They made tackles on them just right and left. One of my young men, Luke Piper, made three.
Yeah, yeah.
Real quick little kid on the corners. My two cornerbacks are really just gutsy little kids that just hang in there. They've gone against some pretty big players and they've hung in and tackled them. But we literally stood up to the challenge the other night at the end of the game, and I was so proud of them for doing that.
Yeah, you had the stop there at the end of the game, or in the first half in the second quarter. You guys had the goal line stop too. You talked about Pierce earlier. Pierce made the tackle right there at the goal line. Stop,
That's right.
forced him out of bounds, and then just started carrying the ball and taking over a leadership role there.
Exactly.
It's something that you can see the work that you guys put in during the week. Speaking of the program, obviously you got the kids on the field, but the parents and everyone around. You guys brought a great crew the other night, and the games that I've seen of yours, it seems like everybody's really getting behind this, and that support has got to be huge for you guys to try while you're trying to build this.
It truly is. And, think about it the other night, when parents come to ball games and show the commitment that we have, that we're going to be a program that's going to be there and do the things that really a good program will do, a well-run program. But to really fight the odds the other night, the weather that was coming up, we were concerned about the hurricane coming in. And I still had 14 of my young men show up with their parents, and they brought them in, and we were all concerned about getting home. But the thing about it is the weather held off for us. God was good. He blessed us with good weather.
Oh, yeah.
And they were able to put on the homecoming event. It was really a spectacular affair that Tennessee Heat did. I mean, they do a great job, and I commend Coach Scott on what he can do. But I really hope one day that our parents can do the same thing. Jamie Gilliland and Holly Long, my team manager, they take care of everything for me. I'm really blessed to have them as a part of this team, and they are truly a part of it because they actually set things up. We're going to have, I think, a senior night coming up here, and they're actually setting up things like that to try to make them happen. And those people don't know what goes in behind the scenes of setting up the concession stands and making sure people take it and all that. It's a big effort when it comes to football. Football is a major thing, and then coaches that take their time volunteering to really just spend time with the players and watch film and do the things that I need to have done. I've really got a great crew around me, and it makes it easy for me because of them.
Yeah, no doubt, and you guys have gotten to play on a really nice, in a really nice situation too there at CSLA. The turf field, the brand new facilities. That's got to help with the excitement a little bit with the program. Instead of you're not playing in a back field somewhere. You guys have a really nice situation and a really nice facility to play in.
That's true, and they really do a good job of helping us. The gentleman that comes and sets up for us, and West is his name, and I mean he's there for us to help us with the game and all that. We also have the RPC church here that allows us to practice on their fields. And we're practicing on fields that are out there beside theirs. They've mowed it for us, helped us line it. Isaac Oates is our youth pastor, and he has really given us a lot of support and just being out there and being able to have a place to practice consistently and then to be able to do the things we do. He allows me to use his youth room just for film.
Yeah.
And people don't realize what it takes for these kids to be able to see themselves and do the things they do and to be able to overcome that. But RPC Church and SLA have done a super job of helping us to really be able to keep this program moving. And they're really looking forward to hopefully one day finding them a place and getting a football field and basketball stadium and a basketball arena and a baseball field so that the Patriots, who they already have a good baseball team and they have a real good basketball team,
Yep.
swimming and things like that, the cheerleading squads, they come out, they do a great job. The mothers of the cheerleaders really help us a lot. I can't express how much effort it takes, but I can't express how much I appreciate and proud of all of them for what they do.
The village shows up every single time, and it really does
They
take a
do.
village, like like you were saying.
Oh, exactly. And it's just, to be a part of this. When I grew up, it was sandlot ball in the backyard.
Yep.
I didn't start playing until I was in the ninth grade. So these kids have an opportunity to really come forward. We're hoping that we can work it like Coach Scott at Tennessee Heat and all these other guys for Freedom Cowboys and these guys, that we can start and get our youth program built up too and be able to do some things that actually can start building this program so it'll be in existence for a long time.
Now, have you had the talk with the guys coming up Friday night? You guys have Riverside Christian, and presuming that the Freedom Riverside game, that Freedom beats Riverside in a couple weeks. If you guys beat Riverside, you're in the playoffs. First year program, all the struggles you guys have had to get to the postseason. Have you had that talk with the guys, and has it helped the excitement level any?
It has, but we talk about it just one day, 1 week at a time. We play them this week.
For sure, yeah.
And I'm looking forward to playing them. I'm looking forward to really them coming here. Hopefully we can host them in a very good way. But more than anything else, I tell these kids, play your hardest, play your best, leave it on the field. We know who to give the glory to. God has been in existence for us from the beginning, and he's the main reason we play, and we want to give 100% effort for everything we do. And we do that, and I think with the talent we have, and maybe if their coach can make some good calls, we may be able to get the end zone a few times, not throw as many interceptions, and that would be a good thing. What do you think?
I think that would be that's the game plan right there. That's the game plan. That's it. Hey, as you look around and you've talked to some of the coaches and some of the teams, is there anybody that you look at and you kind of want to play them and get a chance to play them maybe next year?
We have now played 6 games. Coach Bragg at Lancaster, Coach Collins with the Freedom Cowboys, Coach Scott with Tennessee Heat, Coach Bethard with ZCA. We played Coach Boskins with Tri-Cities, and of course Coach Adams with Tigers. I can't say enough about the quality of those men and what they do. And I'm feel very fortunate that when we walk out to that half the 50-yard line at the end of the game, whether we win or lose, these players mix together. They talk about the battle we had, but they also talk about being friends going forward. And so I see a lot of friendships and things. And one of the things you got to understand is I've got mostly homeschool kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And this sometimes is their opportunity to have relationships with other young men, to be able to grow in their own stature. And that's the thing that I like the most about this. And the coaches really emphasize that. They really want the experience to be on the field and have a good experience. That's what all these coaches represent. I mean, I'm not saying that they're going to battle you hard and they'll put the points on the board they have against me this year.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm hoping that I can build this so I can take away some of those points and add some of my own. So in the future, I can give them a little competition to make it tougher on them.
There you go.
So I'm hoping that we can do that. So we're excited about the future. We're excited about where they're going. And I'll be very excited to watch this program 5 years from now to see where we are.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially with the staff you were talking about earlier, you've got a younger staff, so you've got some guys that can take over there.
Exactly.
Throughout the games this season and as the weeks have gone on, Have you been able to figure out maybe a go-to for the post-game meal, somewhere you like going, or is it just kind of a whatever's open kind of thing?
Well, we've had a place right there by our field that we go to. That is a Italian place there.
Okay.
Uh, and I'm sorry, the name kind of slips my mind right now, but it's really a good place that we go to. Primavera, I believe what it's called. It's right there by CSLA. They serve real good Italian sandwiches and pizzas. It's right there on the corner, so people can't miss it when they go by. But the lady there has been wonderful to us. She treats us with respect, and it's a good place because it's only about 5 minutes. Well, it's not even 5 minutes from the stadium. We come right after that and go to the stadium. So it's been a good thing for us, and that's been a good thing for gathering together. And then we also have a gentleman named Chase that's our FCA coordinator that was over the M16 program, the fitness. And Chase really does a good job with FCA here. And he's come and spoken 2 or 3 times at our games. And I really appreciate his efforts and what he's done for me. So I'm really thankful that I've got a lot of support. And I think that's the thing, that these families, they're really good. I mean, all the parents have been super. They've done everything that's needed to be done. They step up to the plate and do it. And that's the thing. When you see parents getting involved the way these parents get involved, it makes you proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool to see everyone kind of rally around it and take to it, and hopefully it just continues to grow. You talked about having they have a strong basketball, baseball, swimming, all the different sports,
Mm-hmm.
and multi-sport athletes are sometimes the best guys that you can get on your team. So hopefully that just continues to grow for you guys.
Yeah, don't leave out the cheerleaders because they're an important part of it.
Oh,
To me.
absolutely,
And the other
absolutely.
night, I watched Tennessee East cheerleaders do a great job in their homecoming. And that's the thing you like to see, is that all the things, the pageantry that goes around football is just a great experience to be involved in. And they did a wonderful job up there the other night. I hope I can do as well as them one day when we have ours here.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on with me. Good luck Friday night. A big game with Riverside, and then got one more game after that with CCS, and we'll see what happens with the playoffs. But I appreciate you coming on with me, Coach.
Not a problem, James. And I appreciate the fact that you're where you are, because it takes a lot from you to help us out a lot too. And you do a great job, and I appreciate you.
It's a pleasure. I appreciate you, Coach. We'll see you.
All right, bud.
All right, that's Coach King, Stephen King from the Chattanooga Patriots, or CS the Patriots, whichever way you want to look at it. Down there in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Uh, First time homeschool football program, 8-man football, obviously, with has been down there with Grace Academy, who made the move to 11-man, and they've had the Bradley Knights playing a little bit of 11-man over the last couple years, kind of playing a couple games here and there. But Chattanooga probably the most consistent program that's been down there. They've got a great base. Again, the organization's been around for a while, so love to see homeschool football growing in that area that um, really has not had a ton of options for homeschoolers. So love to see it. Love to see it. Big thank you to Sutton Pools LLC for sponsoring the interviews today with Coach Glenn Lott out of Macon East Academy and Coach Stephen King from the Chattanooga Patriots. All right, let's run through the games coming up this weekend. Let's start with the Kansas Christian Athletic Conference. KC East, the Lions. They are hosting Bishop LeBlond High School up there in Missouri. Bishop LeBlond comes in at 4-1, and KC East at 1-4. Life Prep 1-2. They are on the schedule to play Tulsa Noah, who is an 11-man powerhouse up in that area. I'm going to look at something real quick, because typically they've been playing 11-man for a long time. Yeah, all 11-man games. So maybe Life Prep's moving up, or moving up for a game. I hadn't seen that. So, yeah, so Life Prep and Tulsa Noah, Tulsa Jaguars out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then Wichita Warriors, scheduled to have a game at the Manhattan Eagles. Warriors have not played a game so far, don't have one on the schedule, and they are scheduled to be at the Eagles, who are 4-0. And I think that's all the games happening. Yeah, there's no Saturday games there. Let's look at the Heartland Christian Athletic Conference. They're in Oklahoma and Arkansas. On Friday, Destiny Christian at 2-2. They are on the road at Sunrise Christian, who's 3-1. Southwest Christian on the road at Rosebud. Southwest at 500, 2-2. Rosebud winless. And then Canadian High School 0-4. They are at Crossover Prep, who is 1-2. That's on Friday. On Saturday, big matchup here. Trinity Christian at Abundant Life. Abundant Life 4-0 on the season. Trinity Christian 1-4. All right, let's jump all the way over to the state of Florida. Tomorrow, Oasis Christian 0-5. They're at Geneva Classical 5-0. This is a rescheduled game there. And then on Friday, I don't think there's any. Oh, there is a Saturday game. Florida School for the Deaf. They are hosting Alabama School for the Deaf. The Silent Warriors are 1-3, and the Dragons from Florida are 4-0. So this will be a really, really good matchup. Donahue Catholic. They are at Riverside Christian. Donahue coming in at 4-1. Liberty Christian Prep 0-6 on the road at Foundation Christian 3-2. Oasis Christian looking for their first win of the year. They're on the road at Calvary Chapel. Academy at the Lakes. They're at 500, 2-2. They're at Canterbury, who is 4-0. Eastland Christian 1-5 at Geneva, who's 4-1. Hernando Christian at 500, 3-3. They are at Cornerstone Academy. First Coast Christian at Ocala Christian, who is 6-0 on the season, just tearing it up. Merritt Island Christian is also 6-0, and they're hosting Countryside Christian, who's 3-1. Babcock hosting Sports Leadership and Management Academy. Both teams with one win on the year, and then a massive matchup, and I hope it gets to happen with the storms that have come through the Augusta, Georgia area, and everything that's happened with that. Obviously, Coach Murphy is going to have to check on the situation, make sure that this game can happen. But this would be a huge game. Shorecrest Prep from Florida, they are 5-0. They're supposed to go on the road to Westminster Schools of Augusta, who is 4-0. I hope this game can happen, and obviously wishing, again, all the best for our friends in South Carolina, East Tennessee, West North Carolina, all the areas affected by these storms this past weekend. Classical Academy of Sarasota, they're 0-4 at Lakeside Christian, who's only 1-5. So Classical Academy of Sarasota could get their first win of the season. Geneva Classical, they are 5-0, and they are right now, they could be 6-0 heading into this game. Against Four Corners, who is 4-2 right now. Let's go to Alabama. Let's go ahead and talk a little ACSC football. Evangel Christian on the road at Chambers Academy. This is an 11-man matchup. Chambers has been an 11-man powerhouse. So Lightning on the road at 6-1. Chambers at 5-1. East Central, they are at Ezekiel Academy. Big rivalry game here. Patriots are 5-0. Ezekiel 3-2, coming off that big win against Jacksonville Christian. And then Lighthouse Warriors, they're on the road at the Freedom Cowboys. Freedom is 5-2. Lighthouse at 1-5 on the season so far. Let's go to the AISA. We just talked to Coach Lott earlier here in the show. They've got a matchup with North River Christian, who's looking for their first win of the year. It's at Macon East, who is 4-0. North River at 0-6. Lakeside School, another one of the new teams, 8-man there in the AISA. They are at Southern Prep, who's 1-5. Lakeside 2-1. Meadowview Christian and Trinity Christian. Now Meadowview got that big win over North River, but this game typically determines whether one of these teams gets their first win of the season or not. Now Trinity did forfeit the game to Southern Christian. And they did scrimmage, but hopefully this game happens. Meadowview Christian at Trinity Christian Homeschool. As of right now, let me check. As of right now, it's supposed to be Coosa Valley at Cornerstone Christian, but we'll have to see if that game happens. I'm hearing that there's, the game might be called off for different reasons. Cornerstone is 5-0 on the season. Coosa Valley at 1-4. And then Springwood School, they are at Evangel Christian. Springwood currently 3-2. Now they do have the game. I believe it's tomorrow that they're playing against Lakeside School. Yes. is tomorrow. So they're playing Lakeside. So if they can beat Lakeside, they'll come into this game against Evangel Christian, also 4-2. So big matchup here between Springwood and Evangel Christian. I believe it was a matchup for the first AISA 8-man championship. It was first AISA 8-man championship was this game. So again, the rivalries there between Springwood and Evangel. Let's go to the CFA on Friday. A whole slew of games. Clay County Christian is supposed to be at Jacksonville Christian. Now, they did forfeit the game to Tuscaloosa Christian this past week, so we'll have to see if that one happens. They are winless. Jacksonville Christian 5-2 on the season. Russell Christian at 5-1. Silva Bay Academy at 4-1. This is a big MIAS versus CFA game. Of course, Russell there in Mississippi, so getting to play outside of their conference a little bit. Unity Christian is listed at 0-2-2, and they are supposed to be at Tuscaloosa Christian, who is 3-3. Unity Christian coming out of Leland, Mississippi, and then Tabernacle Christian 1-4. They're on the road at Victory Christian, who is 3-2. Let's go to the Southeastern Extreme Conference. We just talked to Coach King from the Chattanooga Patriots. They're 0-7. They're hosting Riverside Christian, who's 1-5. They've got that win over Trinity Christian Homeschool from Alabama. Other than that, they are 0-5, looking for their first conference win. Two teams that, a little bit of a struggle, a little bit of a tough year for both of them. Somebody's going to get the win. And this one, if it's Chattanooga, presuming Freedom beats Riverside, then Chattanooga would get that playoff spot. And if Riverside wins, it's going to make things very, very interesting there. Friday, you also have Zion Christian and Tri-Cities Christian. There's some big games in the SEC this coming Friday. Zion and Tri-Cities, this is a win-and-you're-in game. In the North Division, of course, Tennessee Heat beat both of these teams, so whoever wins would grab that number 2 spot in the North Division. Christian Community at South Haven Christian. This one is a big one. If South Haven wins, they take the number 1. They win their division, the Central Division. They're in the SEEC. If Christian Community wins, they will win the division. They're in the SEEC. So it's a very, very interesting situation there with that one. Let's see. Tennessee Heat, they are playing an 11-man game at Eagleville High School, so they'll be on the road for that one. And then we talked about Lighthouse and Freedom. On the road, it's at Freedom. So let's go to the state of South Carolina. Let's go to the SCISA. And again, we hope all these schools are okay. Let's run through the expected slate of games, and we'll see as this week comes up which of these games ends up getting played. There's some big ones. Holly Hill Academy is at Conway Christian. Holly Hill 4-1. Conway looking for their first win. This is a big one. Lawrence Academy, Wardlaw Academy. Lawrence is 4-2. Wardlaw is 4-1. Cathedral Academy 6-0. They're at JDA. Jefferson Davis Academy, who is 6-1, but they are 6-0 in SCISA play. Cross Academy, they are at Kings Academy. Cross at 1-5. Kings at 2-3. Oak Brook Prep, they are looking for their first one of the year at 0-5. King Academy at 1-4. And then Richard Wynn, 5-0 on the season. They're at Newberry Academy, who is 2-3. And again, we'll see if those games end up getting played, as well as some of these games in the SIFA. The Pack Panthers, they are at Northside Christian Academy. This will be, I believe it's an 11-man game if I'm not mistaken. Pack Panthers at 7-0. Harvest at Augusta. Augusta at 500, 3-3. Harvest at 1-5. And then Coastal Hurricanes, they are hosting the Carolina Wildcats. Both of these teams are 3-3 at 500. This will be a big one here. I believe the Wildcats and Augusta still have to play. Yes, and they will play in 2 weeks. But this will be a big one in terms of that seeding, that 2 through 4 seeding between Augusta, Carolina, and Coastal. This will affect that in quite a bit. So very, very excited to see what happens there. Let's go to the state of Georgia. Tomorrow, we do have a rescheduled game between Fullington Academy and David Emmanuel Academy. DEA at 2-3, Fullington 4-2. On Friday, Harvester Christian 5-1 at Holy Spirit Prep. We talked about Shorecrest Prep and Westminster Schools of Augusta. Really, really hope that game can happen, and wishing all the best for the folks there in Augusta, and also for our friends at the Augusta Eagles. Wishing all the best for them. Memorial Day at 1-5. They're at Crisp Academy, who is also 1-5. David Emmanuel has 2 games this week on Monday, and then on Friday they will play at Westwood, who is 5-1. So tough stretch for them. Citizens Academy at 2-3. Georgia Christian at 6-0. St. Mary's Academy 1-5. They are at Covenant Academy, who is 2-3. Monsignor Donovan Catholic at 1-3. Now again, it was Holy Spirit Prep and Donovan Catholic that don't know the score for that one, so they could be 2-3 or 1-4. But regardless, they're at Westminster Christian, who is 6-0 on the season. Let's see. Grace Christian is at Fullington Academy, so that's their second game of the week as well after the matchup with DEA. Fullington 4-2, Grace at 1-5, and then St. Mary's at 1-5. They are at Covenant Academy, who is 2-3. Let's go to the Mid-South Christian Football League. On Saturday, we have two. It's an all-conference matchup: Magnolia Wildcats and the Slidell Homeschool Saints. Magnolia at 2-1 technically. Saints at 1-4, and then Faith Christian Homeschool. The Tornadoes are 3-2, and then technically 3-2-1, and then the Pine Belt Spartans are 0-5, looking for their first win of the season. Let's shake it up a little bit. Let's go to the state of Louisiana. On Thursday, Mount Olive Christian is winless. They are at Acadiana Christian, who is 5-2. Mount Olive looking for the first win of the year. Looks like JPG is off, as well as Southwest Louisiana Homeschool does have a game. They're hosting the North Shore Vultures, who are 4-4. SWLA, they are 4-2. So I believe it's First Baptist Christian and JPG who are off this week in the ACEL down there in Louisiana. Let's see if I missed anybody. Mason-Dixon Conference on Saturday talked about the Florida School for the Deaf taking on Alabama School for the Deaf. And then also on Saturday, we're supposed to get Mississippi School for the Deaf at Phoenix Day School for the Deaf. And I believe, Phoenix Day, is that the one out of Arizona? It is. It is out of Phoenix, Arizona. So, so it's Phoenix, and they are the Roadrunners. So the Phoenix Day School for the Deaf Roadrunners at Mississippi School for the Deaf Bulldogs. And then before that, on Thursday, Louisiana School for the Deaf and Arkansas School for the Deaf Leopards versus the Eagles in the Mason-Dixon Conference, the War Eagles, rather, from Louisiana. So big matchup there. Let's see. Let's go to Virginia. Let's talk a little Virginia 8-man. Tomorrow, the Covenant School at 4-1. They're on the road at Kinston Forest, who's 2-3. On Thursday, Rappahannock County, 5-1. They're at Christ Church School. This is a big one there in Division 1. Rappahannock at 5-1. Christ Church at 3-1. Randolph-Macon Academy is at Quantico. Both are 1-3 on the season, so somebody's going to get closer to 500 on Thursday. On Friday, 2 games here. Chincoteague hosting Southampton Academy. Chincoteague at 2-4. Southampton at 3-1. And then BSH, Blessed Sacrament Huguenot, coming off their first win of the season. They're at Brunswick Academy, who is 4-2. So far this year. And then on Saturday, a few games. Broadwater Academy 4-3 at Kinston Forest, so they have 2 games this week. Fishburne Military is 4-0, and they are at Massanutten. Did I get that right? I think I got that right. I think I nailed it. Massanutten Military Academy, who is 0-4. And then Greenbrier Christian at 4-2. They are at Virginia Episcopal School, who is 2-2. So big matchup there in the VISAA Division 1. Let's see who we're missing. Let's go to North Carolina. Let's talk a little North Carolina 8-man. So tomorrow, I mentioned earlier, Pungo Christian at 4-1. They are at Community Christian at 4-2. On Thursday, Father Capodanno is at Faith Christian. Capodanno looking for their first win of the year at 0-5. Faith Christian at 3-3. JP2, they're on the road at Halifax Academy this Friday in the NCISAA. JP2 at 3-2, Halifax 2-4. Rocky Mount Academy 3-4 at Cary Christian, who is currently 4-0 after the game against, I believe it was Capodanno. Yes, got canceled. And then Wayne Christian at 4-1. They're at Berean Baptist, who's 0-5. Lawrence Academy 2-4 at Arendelle Parrott, who is 5-1. And then Northeast Academy is at Metamuskete. They're in coming out of Virginia, I believe. Let me see. No, Matamuskeet is North Carolina, Swan Quarter, North Carolina. So matchup there. Northeast Academy looking for their first win of the year at 0-6. I think the last one to go through is MAIS. Let me double check. Yeah, that's the last one to go through. So let's run through it real quick. Lee Academy at Kemper Academy. Tensas Academy at Wilkinson County Christian. Wilkinson County Christian at 5-1, I believe, because their score didn't get reported. So yes, they are 5-1. Tensas Academy at Wilkinson County Christian. Calhoun Academy 2-4, taking on Hebron Christian. Northeast Baptist 0-3. They are at Marvell Academy out of Arkansas. Briarfield Academy 4-1 at Claiborne Academy, who is 5-1. Let me see. I think both of those scores were turned in, so that is an accurate standings. Let me go back to the MAIS here on Friday. Union Christian 2-4. They are at River Oaks, who is 6-0. And then I mentioned Briarfield and Claiborne. All those games being played on Friday. Let's go to the 2A in the MAIS. Talked about Silva Bay at Russell Christian. That's a big one between the MAIS and the CFA. Park Place Christian 3-1 at Prairie View Academy, who is 6-1 on the year, having a great season there in the MAIS. Princess Christian at Christian Collegiate, both of them listed at 2-3, and I don't remember. I think Prentice, their score was not reported. So Prentice and Christian Collegiate. Hillcrest Christian, they are at Porter's Chapel Academy. Humphreys at Tunica, who is 5-0. Newton County Academy at Deer Creek. And then Delta Academy, who is 4-2, I believe. See the Delta Academy score get turned in. Let me see. Let me go to 1A. Did Delta Academy get turned in? Where's Delta? Well, I gotta find Delta first. Yes, so Delta Academy is 4-2, and then DeSoto Academy is 5-0. So a lot of good 8-man football being played across the South as we get closer to the postseason, and most of these conferences and organizations, associations, leagues, divisions, regions. A lot of good football coming up this weekend. Go catch a game. Go support a team. Maybe you've got a connection to a team. Go check them out. Go support them. Hey, listen, we're at the point. We're about the halfway point of the season for most of the conferences. We ain't got much football left, guys. Let's make the most of it. Let's enjoy it because it's a long time between games during the off season. And let's make the most of it there. That'll do it for Extreme Talk today, presented by Complete Real Estate, where experience and integrity matters. A big thank you to Sutton Pools, LLC, for sponsoring the interviews every week with these 8-man coaches, the people around the game of 8-man football. Big thank you to Fairlife Core Power Protein for helping us recognize these athletes every week. And a big thank you to Coach Lott and Coach King for coming on the show today. Thank you for listening. We will see you next week. See ya.